What a crazy turn of events for the Toronto Raptors. Just last week, this team lost to the Detroit Pistons and the Orlando Magic, and I saw conversations out there that were debating whether or not the Raptors should tank. And I thought those conversations were ludicrous, but they were being had. And then a week later, just a week later, this team goes on the road, they get Fred VanVleet back, they go into San Antonio, beat the San Antonio Spurs, and then they beat the Phoenix Suns and Denver Nuggets back-to-back on the road? What? This is absolutely crazy. The Raptors play to their competition, and this is a representation of that. When they play a weaker team, they look weak. When they play one of the best teams in the league, they look like one of the best teams in the league, or at least capable of playing at that level. We are going to dive into what the Raptors just did and why they once again look like a legitimate dark horse in the Eastern Conference. So we are going to get into it. Before we do, please do me a solid favor, everybody. Drop a like on the video if you want to see more Raptors content. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. Plus, ring the bell for more. Leave your comments down below. I read every single one of them. And you can follow me all over social media. And if you want to become a channel member, hit that join button for custom perks and emojis. Let's take a look at what the Raptors just did. Let's first start with the Suns game. Now, I know the Phoenix Suns did not have Chris Paul, but I don't care. The Raptors still beat the best team in the league record-wise, and a team that went into that home game only having 7 home losses on the season. The Raptors made that 8. Gary Trent Jr., big-time buckets, man. When he plays like that, he reminds fans just how much the Raptors won that trade when they did go out and get Gary Trent Jr. 42 points. He cannot miss. He was on fire. And I know he's had times where it could go the other way. But when Gary is on, man, he is on. He had 8 rebounds to go along with that stat line. He was just a guy who every time the Suns looked like they're going to make a run, he had a key bucket in him. Pascal Siakam, another guy who played great in that Suns game, especially down low. 25 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. Scotty Barnes continuing the theme of his great games. Post All-Star break had 15, 1, and 6. And although Fred VanVleet didn't shoot the ball particularly well, we've seen how good the Raptors have looked night and day with Fred VanVleet in the lineup versus when he is on the sideline. And what impressed me the most about that Suns game was the fact that every time the Suns made their run and that crowd got back into the game, the Raptors responded by silencing the crowd, by making a big-time play, by coming up with a big-time stop. I mean, take the last 2 minutes of that game. You talk about championship-esque defense. It was on full display for the Raptors. They got a couple of key steals that really put that game in their favor. Scotty Barnes coming up big. Raptors buckling down defensively. And the Suns, it looked like they were going to maybe steal a game that I thought ultimately they shouldn't have won, because let's call it for what it is. The Raptors played a near-perfect game on Friday. But it wasn't the case of the Suns stealing one. The Raptors were resilient till the very end, and they did that against the team that just made it to the NBA Finals a season ago. And I know Chris Paul didn't play, but neither did OG Anunoby. And just when you thought that was the Raptors' most impressive win of the season, they might have topped that with the performance on Saturday night. You talk about the circumstances going into that game. Second night of a back-to-back, on the road, going a mile high, in altitude, without Fred VanVleet and OG Anunoby, and the Raptors came away with another statement performance. Pascal Siakam had a game-high, 33 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. He had a better stat line than MVP frontrunner Nikola Jokic. And then how about Scotty Barnes, man? What an amazing game. I talked about Scotty Barnes' development, him taking his game to a whole new level in my last video. If you haven't checked it out, go watch it. I dropped it a couple days ago. Go get those numbers up on that video. But he was awesome in this one, man. 25 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. Scotty Barnes has looked like the Rookie of the Year post All-Star break. The run that he's on is absolutely remarkable. He ups his game. He is becoming such a reliable player for this Raptors team, especially in clutch time. Hitting a 3, getting a stop. I know he still has the tendencies of making some poor decisions. He had a couple of turnovers that come to mind late in the fourth quarter, but all in all, he is just awesome to watch. The development of this kid at his age. There's reasons why Raptors fans are so optimistic of how good Scottie Barnes can become. It's when he shows up in a big way against good teams. So Scottie Barnes was another positive takeaway from that win against the Nuggets. And then how about Chris Boucher stepping up from off the bench, man? 21 points, 13 rebounds. Who saw that one coming? Giving the Raptors so many second chance opportunities. Thad Young made some great plays late in the second half, especially defensively on DeMarcus Cousins when he was out there trying to battle inside. And the Raptors out-rebounded a bigger team in Denver, 50-39, and more impressively, 23-9 on the offensive glass. It was crazy to see the Raptors' effort in creating second chance opportunities, which ultimately was the difference in this game. And then again, the Raptors' defense closed out another one. Late in this one, closing the deal for the Raptors as they picked up a 12-point win on the road against Denver. These two wins are as impressive as you could have chalked up for this Raptors team, especially in the style in which they did. So don't look now, but the once lifeless Raptors just last week look like a legitimate dark horse in the Eastern Conference that have proven that they can hang with the best of them in the NBA. And the Raptors right now just sit one game back of the Cleveland Cavaliers for 6th in the East. The Cavaliers are struggling. The Raptors are getting hot. All of a sudden, that 6th spot in the East looks very attainable. And we know how important that 6th spot is. It ensures you are in the playoffs. You get a full playoff series. And you don't have to go through the play-in. The Raptors do play the Cavaliers on March 24th. That's going to be a huge game. The Cavaliers have had the Raptors number late, but like I said, they've been kind of going the other way. The Raptors, if they can continue this hot play, continue this hot streak, they go into that game, they win that game, they'll be looking good in terms of potentially getting that 6th spot in the Eastern Conference. So as you can tell from the title of this video, I believe the Raptors could be a playoff nightmare. This is a team that plays to their competition. This is a team that is never an easy out. And this is a team that's actually had some success against the top 3 right now in the East. And we're going to get to that as I did some digging. But before we do, I do want to quickly announce that today's video sponsor is Manscaped. If you haven't already picked up any one of Manscaped's great products, all you got to do is go to manscaped.com, use my promo code Luca3, and you will get 20% off plus free shipping. It's as simple as that. Get yourself something, get your friends something. Manscaped is clutch. They come through every single time. And they present the all-new Ultra Premium Collection. This all-in-one hygiene skin and hair bundle is designed to upgrade the everyday man's shower routine from head to toe. Your skin, your hair, and balls deserve this. This new bundle will change your life, and I want all of you out there watching or listening to live their best lives. So again, go on over to manscaped.com, use my promo code Luca3 and you will get 20% off plus free shipping on any of Manscaped's great products. I'm talking the Lawnmower 4.0. I'm talking the Ultra Premium Collection. They got great cologne. Manscaped's got you covered, fellas. And if you want to spice up your life, your dating life, you definitely want to add Manscaped to that repertoire. So go on over to manscaped.com, use my promo code Luca3 for 20% off plus free shipping. It helps me, it helps the channel, and it helps you. It's a win-win-win situation all around. Back to what I was saying before. The Toronto Raptors. How have they fared against the top 3 in the East? They fared pretty well so far. I mean, you look at the Raptors head-to-head against the Miami Heat, the number 1 seed in the East as of today. The Raptors are 2-1 against the Heat, and we already know how epic of a win that was against the Heat in triple overtime not too long ago. Then you want to take a look at the number 2 seed, the Milwaukee Bucks, the defending champions, a team that is getting hot at the right time. The Raptors have won 5 straight games against the Bucks, damn it. Not to mention they are 3-0 against the Bucks this season. They do not fear the Milwaukee Bucks. I know it could look like a mismatch on paper, but I believe the Raptors would not back down to the Bucks in a 7-game series. Then you want to look at the Philadelphia 76ers, who just got humbled by the Brooklyn Nets. The Raptors are 1-1 against the Sixers, and they do play the Sixers later on this month. So we'll see how the Raptors look against the new-look 76ers before we make an analysis about that. And I think the Nets being out of the top 3 is a blessing in disguise. I still think that's the team to beat in the East, but if the Nets can be in 7th or 8th, and the Raptors avoid them in the play-in, avoid them in the first round altogether, that's going to be a huge win. And let's not forget, everybody, OG Anunoby is still waiting in the wing to return. And we know once this Raptors team is at full strength, they are a deadly one. They are a dangerous team, which is why I coined this team as the most dangerous team in the East a few weeks ago. It was because we saw this Raptors team go on in a remarkable winning streak when they had everybody in the lineup. They won, 8 games in a row, and we saw the competition that they beat. It wasn't the bottom-feeding teams of the NBA. It was actually very good competition. Teams like the Bulls, the Heat, etc. So the Toronto Raptors, it's been a weird season. I know. You never really grasp where this team's going, how this team is going to look. And I hope this momentum that they have from these 2 wins carries on over to close out the season on a high. But all I know is this. If the Raptors are fully healthy, and if their defensive intensity is there, this team always has a chance to win. It's that defense that gives them a chance to be within striking distance. And if the Raptors get key contributions from guys like Scottie, Siakam, Gary Trent Jr., Fred VanVleet, they have a chance to win games. They have the pieces in place to keep games close against good competition and to win those games. We just saw that in the last 48 hours or so. So again, let's see how this momentum stays, or we'll see if the Raptors once again prove us all wrong and they end up losing against a terrible team. It would not surprise me. It's just been one of those seasons. But all I know is this. If the Raptors can close out on a strong run, they can get into the top 6, which is very attainable, and they at least get granted one full playoff series, I think they are going to be a tough out for whoever they play in the top 3. And a lot can still change. I know I mentioned the top 3 teams right now being Miami, Milwaukee, Philadelphia. A lot can change. But those are teams that I think the Raptors would feel good to go up against. And just some food for thought, Chicago, I think, is 2-1 against the Raptors this season. But Chicago, I think that's another series the Raptors would feel good about. I think who the Raptors would ultimately want to avoid are the Boston Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets. Those are 2 teams that come to mind. Cleveland, I know they've had the Raptors number of late, but they're still an inexperienced team when it comes to postseason success with this group at least. So we'll see what happens, everybody, but I mean, you cannot ignore what the Raptors just did. You simply can. And the Raptors got the Lakers next. And I don't know, maybe the Raptors just needed some time away from fans, or maybe the Raptors just don't play well in front of their fans. It's crazy how they go on the road in hostile environments and tough places to play, and they get W's. It's crazy. It's been one of those seasons for the Raptors. But in terms of people who were questioning if this team should tank or not, no. Play it out. Let's get this team some playoff reps. Let's get Scottie Barnes some playoff reps. And let's not underestimate what this team can do in the playoffs if they do get into the playoffs. Of course, nothing is guaranteed at this point. But let me know what your thoughts have been on Toronto Raptors. Do you agree with my statement? Could you see the Raptors being a playoff nightmare if they get in? And if they go up against one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference? Let me know your thoughts down below. I read every single comment. Again, please drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Plus, ring the bell. Share this video as well. YouTube has been weird lately with the algorithm not pushing out videos or post notifications. So make sure you guys come through with this one. Like, sub, share. It all helps the algorithm. Let's blow this video up. Let's subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's get to 27K. And yeah, if you want to see more Raptors and NBA content, this is your source for all that and more. The Luca Rosano YouTube channel. As always, thank you so much for watching. This is Luca Rosano signing off, and I'll catch you all again in the next video.